Hello and thank you for joining us on the Thursday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. Today on the program, federal government laments skyrocketing food prices, blames corrupt middlemen as NLC rejects hike in fuel price. 90 armed bandits on 30 motorcycles storm bank in Kagara town in Niger State. And later on the show, arrested Indian Hemp farmer in Kogi State begs NDLEA officers to kill him rather than destroy his 10-hectare of cannabis farm. I'll be hanging out with Asukwo James while Charles Ideho will be joining us via Skype. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for joining us. Now, apart from insecurity, another thorny issue in Nigeria is biting hard is cost of living. President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed worry over the rise in food prices. He blamed activities of exploitative and corrupt traders and middlemen. He said it is unnecessary at this time of lull in global economy due to the coronavirus pandemic. In the midst of this, the federal government increased the pump price of petrol from 143 naira to 151 naira. Many groups like the Nigerian Labour Congress, the House of Representatives, vehemently kicked against the hike. As we go, let's talk about cost of foodstuffs. And the major staple that we consume a lot in Nigeria is rice. The last time I checked, a bag of rice, let's say you don't eat foreign rice, local rice, 25,000 naira.
It's 28,000.
It has gone to 28,000.
Yes.
And I gather that every state now, everybody has gone to the farm, as in they have one form of mechanized farming production or the other to do. So across 36 states, we've increased our production capacity. And if you do the ratio of that capacity that increase, you will know that, look, the importation, we used to be the largest
importer of rice.
Rice.
Especially from Thailand and Kogi.
Yes, in the world. And for us to, close our border close to a year now, and we are still experiencing, even with the local rice, the prices skyrocketing.
I think the problem is it shows that Nigeria is completely import dependent, in the sense that virtually everything that we want to that we are consuming is imported. Even when we try to bring alternative to those things that we import, we still have that difficulty in trying to match those things that we import. People will still want, if you go to the market today, people are still buying foreign rice. Why are they buying foreign rice? They will tell you that the Nigerian rice is not good, it's soggy. Right? By the time you cook it, it's going to be soft. It is because we do not even like ourselves. Why not we try our own things so that by the time we stop importing these things, our naira...
It should be about 30,000 naira per bag.
Yes, about 30. Somebody was even telling me about 3,000 or thereabout. So I was even asking, how did the foreign rice even get to Nigeria? Because they said they've closed the border, nothing is moving. Okay, so maybe it's coming from, what is it called? From the ports. And so the person will also have to pay for import duties and all that. So if you are even bringing rice, there are some things that should be completely banned from coming, especially those things that we know how to produce. I remember there was a time there was scarcity of, I think we had scarcity, what is it, this My 2 market, or My 12 market. They shut down My 12 market. Yeah. People were going to Benin to go and buy pepper.
Pepper, yes.
They were going to Benin to buy pepper. And I remember then how much pepper was. And this is something that if My 12, they are not bringing in pepper, somewhere in Osun, they are supposed to be even cultivating pepper, bringing pepper from Osun, bringing from Oyo, so that the prices will go down. But rather, Nigerians will rather go to other countries to bring those things. And so when we are talking about the middlemen, somebody will tell you that is producing rice. The cost of production to even get rice done, because just like you said, virtually all the states, Ebonyi, they have rice. Enugu, they have rice.
Kogi,
All Kogi. So, in fact, sometimes when once you go to the market, you get so confused. Because if I even go to the market, if I, take a trip to the market with my wife, sometimes I try to check those things that are even made in Nigeria. When once I see one bag of rice, I'll say, where is this one from? They will say, it's foreign. I say, no. Me, I don't want foreign rice. I want Nigerian rice. I try to even be patriotic at least, And once you try to check how much the cost is, you begin to wonder, what is the difference is not going to be much. Because if you look at 25,000, let me even say it's 25,000 and 33,000, what is the difference? So anybody that is in Nigeria will prefer to buy the foreign rice because even regardless of the difference. So we must try to love ourselves, love the things that we produce, especially the alternatives that we have, and then see how we can cut off people who are, the government is saying that we have to blame the middlemen. Why can't the government also find a way to buy off this rice, stock them somewhere, and then get like a storage facility, buy this rice from all these states, and see how they can cut off middlemen completely. So that if, for instance, you are buying rice from Lagos State, the lake rice from Lagos State at 10,000, and the federal government is buying it at 8,000, I bet you, Ayo, you and I will be able to go to that storage facility and buy at 9,000. So that is where you can cut off people who want to sell at 25,000 to make 15,000 naira. So there are so many ways the government can do this, bring ideas that will be able to help the poor man or the common man outside. Because let me tell you, Ayo, things are difficult. Let's not joke about it. Very difficult. Things are difficult.
Charles Idaho.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Yes, when you look at it, I don't know the last time you went to the market. I don't know the feedback you've gotten from the prices of foodstuffs right now in the markets. So alarming.
Well, it's alarming, but what we have today, Ayo, didn't just start yesterday. It's an accumulation of government not deliberately ensuring that policies that will kick against or that will help us to take away food insecurity in the system are put in place. You see, so that's why it's an accumulated. It was accumulated over the years. When you also look at even this Kogi State, that's Kogi State is about the largest rice growing state in Nigeria. You understand that even as we speak, over 450,000 hectares of land have been swept away by flood. By flood, and you also look at it. Do you know that NIMET, that is this meteorological agency in Nigeria, has been warning over time, and this warning will always come very timely. But what do we do when they warn us? And earlier in the year, late last year, they warned that no fewer than 102 local government out of the 704 local government in Nigeria will be having flood problems. Okay, that's over 100 local government. The question you want to ask is that when NIMET gave that warning, what did the government do? And even about 11 of that local government are all in Kogi State. So if you look at it, that NIMET is doing what it's doing, but there's no corresponding attack in that aspect. So imagine 450,000 hectares of land of rice swept away, and then you expect us not to have food scarcity in Nigeria? How about the middlemen they talk about? There was this realization of the policy where, because there's a policy where they have to check how much grains these people store in silos, in warehouses. But there was a realization on that policy. So the middlemen you're talking about now, they will go into all this market and buy them and store them. They store them away. What do? They create artificial scarcity so that when there's demand, they begin to release them piecemeal. So I expected during the general that IBB era, some of us were secondary to those states, we heard that silos were built all over Nigeria. And what they want to do with it? When you have supplies, when you have supply glut, maybe there's a produce glut in the market, the government will buy them up and store them in silos, so that when there's scarcity, they can release them, and so that there won't be scarcity. But all these policies were left to follow. So I think what government needs to do is that rather than saying, oh, this is a problem of middlemen. Are the middlemen faceless? Are they faceless? If they have been able to identify them, why don't you go after them and do what James said earlier? You buy this off them so that people will not have a problem. And then when you also talk about the activities of herdsmen around there, people are afraid to go to to their farms. You go to the farm, you don't even know whether they're going to return. So some of this is an accumulation and of over the years what government didn't do right. So I think what government needs to do is that rather than throw blame at anybody, they should sit down and own up to the fact that there's failure somewhere, so that they'll be able to come up with deliberate policies that will ensure that this drift is arrested, so that there won't be food insecurity in Nigeria, so that all of us can be happy and then we can applaud the government that indeed they are tackling it headlong. So that's where I see it, Ayo.
Okay, Rahim is calling us from Oshobo. Thank you for joining us, Rahim. Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening, Rahim.
Yeah, thank you very much for your discussion. You see, Nigerians, most of the rice they are selling is local rice. They bag it from foreign bag, which indicates it is foreign. Let me tell you. And the price you are talking, the distribution aspect of it is the problem. Transportation. If you go to some areas, we have abundance of food. But the transport is the problem. Transport is the problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rahim, for that contribution. Now we go to Phil now. In 2012, January, if you remember, I remember I won an award with that, the Ojota rally. You know, I was the one that first took out the Obi van to sensitize Nigerians. At Ojota, yeah. We all trooped out. As at that time, 65 naira per litre. And all hell was let loose and everything. But in trend, reality of what we have now, we have 151 naira. And you know this film is tied to everything in our life. For our, you know, that we used to carry out a livelihood, transportation, production, whatever you talk about. That you can use, it's so connected. Now we are selling 151 naira per litre.
I bought it for 162 this morning.
162. Yes. They are very quick. Those people at the depot. Yes. They are very quick to change the meter when it's on. Tomorrow when they revert to maybe 120 or 115, you hear that we will not exhaust our old stock.
You see, Ayo, that is the problem we have. You know, most times we keep blaming government. We also have to blame ourselves. The period the fuel was reduced when we had the COVID, you know, there was a time they reduced the pump price. Yeah. Most filling stations, immediately they shut down their filling stations. They said, no, we still have old stock. Then the next thing they did was to adjust their meter a bit, so that they will be able to do what? To make gains. You know, so if, for instance, there's a period that people are supposed, you know, to show that patriotism, they won't. But when once government, I remember then, people are saying, it's Greek gifts. Yes, it was Greek, but we enjoyed that period. Now it is 162. It was even 151 then, but Ipman said, no, our members can start selling at 162.
So that sector has been fully deregulated.
Now,
it's according to market forces.
Well, they have not said it. But if you look at it, the difference between what happened in 2012 and now is that then we were all shouting, remove fuel subsidy, remember?
Yes.
Now, if you notice that in the 2020 budget, there is no provision for subsidy. So it means, technically, fuel subsidy has gone. But we have a problem. That particular sector is being run by the government. And if you want to say you want to deregulate, the governments cannot approbate and reprobate at the same time. They have a player there, which is the NNPC. The NNPC is a regulator and also a player in that industry.
The biggest player.
Yes. So it is the NNPC that is importing. So if the NNPC is importing fuel and you are telling people to come and buy from the NNPC and you are saying that you are deregulating, there is a problem there. There's a big problem there.
To encourage the real private guys.
Yes, of course. It won't encourage the likes of you and I to even say want to go to the sector. And that is why people are even saying, let the president sign the PIB, the Petroleum Industry Bill, whereby more investors will come in and then the prices will come down. But
you know, we have the major marketers and...
Yes, we have the major marketers. Those ones can even import too. But at what cost? At what cost? Because if they are bringing, they are also looking at the how much dollar is in the market. And then CBN is also going to give them dollar at the price that they are selling to those who are real. Yes, the official rate. So if you, Ayo Zupaku Petroleum that is in Oshodi, you want to now say you are not a major marketer, you want to say you want to import, do you know, CBN will not even give you money to even try to import. So the problem is the sincerity in all sides. The government, if they want to deregulate, they have to make you full deregulation. Let the reality just come in. But the problem I also have, Ayo, is that the speed at which this is coming at this time, we have not even coughed or even survived the hike in electricity tariff. We are still, in fact, the thing came like a thief in the night, like they say in the Bible, that they say in the Bible, that is written in the Bible. People were still grasping with that. When did we, how much are we going to pay? How is it going to happen? We have not even finished with the 7.5 VATs that they are collecting. You know, so there are so many things that the government is bringing at the same time, and people are wondering, is this government for us or not? We want this government to succeed, but they also have to look at they must feel the pulse of the people before they bring out any policy. Those policies are good, but the thing is they also need to sit down to feel the pulse of the people. Like we are saying, people out there are not happy because the more these things are, in this COVID really, if you know the number of people that lost their jobs in this COVID, and you are now bringing increases in fuel prices, increases in electricity, Ayo.
Just, the pressure is just much.
It's just so much.
Charles, Nigerians want to understand, like this year alone, we've had to, the prices, they've been fluctuating. What is responsible for this?
Well, you know that the petrol or what you know is not, it's an international commodity. Recently, I hosted a radio program where Bala Zaka, you know him, was my guest, and he quite explained all this. It's an international commodity, and international commodity we have no control over. So, and you remember that even as we speak, there are so many countries that are diversifying from the use of the over dependence on the fossil fuel. So we also look at that. Then we also look at the absence of local refineries. Okay, because what you do is that you have the crude in your hand, and whatever is crude is crude. You take the crude abroad, then you now refine, and then there will be costs. There will be marginal costs that will be incurred, and those costs will come back, and then you, Ayo Zubaku, and James, so-called James, and myself, we pay those things. But if we had, for instance, local refineries, maybe about 2 working optimally, you see that all these costs they talk about, S-Depo price, they talk about taxes, the one that will go to this and that, all of them will be eliminated. And once you eliminate them, then the prices can now be very competitive. What you're having is that we are tied to foreign exchange. But if you decide to ensure that you have at least 2 refineries, whether modular refinery or whatever nomenclature they may call them, you see that most of these costs that are built into it will be eliminated totally. So the prices should now be domiciled in or denominated in naira, not in dollars anymore. And once that happens, there's no way we cannot say that the everyday man will not be able to afford it. But what we have now is that we are at the mercies of the what they call it, the market forces. And market forces are very, 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 very cruel and brutal. Okay, because how is it brutal is that there are people who are in charge. There are people who can just form oligopoly. They can just, okay, let's create scarcity in this thing. Before you know it, then you have it. And they cannot decide to now say, oh, this is how much to buy. So I think what we do is that I think the federal government has to really sit up to do something about having local refineries so that we can refine this, and then as we sell crude outside, we can retain a measure of it and refine them locally so that you and I can have access to these things, so that we don't have to be bothered about foreign exchange or who is going to be porting it, or there are middlemen, or there are cabals, we call them over time. All these cabals, or whatever we call them, will be eliminated. So NNPC, we don't have to bother about refining them. All they need to do is to concern themselves with how to ship the crude out of Nigeria, then retain a fraction of whatever, and then we can refine them locally, and all these things will be a thing of the past.
Okay, I have Agbola calling us from Ilorin. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for waiting, Agbola.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Okay. My contribution is that
Are you there, Agbola? Oh, you can try and call us back. So, Asugo, when we're talking about the area is going to be affecting, for a long time, we've not had it so bad, the inflation figure. And I looked at it and I said, wow,
double digits.
Double digits.
And it keeps going up. I was talking to Tolu, and Tolu was saying, let me tell you, let us brace up. You know, the next quarter won't be easy, that the inflation is going to go right up there, and I don't know how Nigeria is going to survive this.
But fallout of COVID.
Yes, you know, exactly. COVID has
we're gradually entering into that recession.
We did not expect COVID to come, you know. But I know that there are some countries who were even, they knew that COVID was going to take a hard hit on them, and they prepared, you know, to a certain extent. But we are not prepared. So the thing just came like that, and then that is why we are just trying to see how we can patch up. I know we are going to patch up till the end of December, but we don't know how we are going to survive after December.
Post-COVID era.
You know, that is a major thing. But as it stands today, Ayo, so many people will lose their jobs, you know.
That is happening already.
And then I am just hoping that the government will also increase, you know, policemen, because the rate of insecurity will be high. So we should also have that, because once people don't have jobs, they don't have anything to do, the next thing they want to take into hands. If money is not circulating, what else? You know. So the government will start to look at alternatives.
Small scale businesses cannot survive with this 151 naira per liter.
They can't, because the thing is, you have, for instance, even if you are giving me electricity for maybe 20 hours, and I'm paying more than what I'm making for the electricity. And if I don't have, and I'm paying more for fuel to do my business, you can see that there's serious problem left, right, and center. So government should have to find a way to see how they can help small scale businesses. And we are talking about agric. All of a sudden, what happened to the revolution of moving everybody to diversify completely from oil? Let me tell you, people are saying, and they keep saying it, that when there is no oil in Nigeria, what will happen? We should start thinking about the future. And all the countries that have had oil like us, they are thinking of other things. Dubai, if you go to Dubai now, they are not even talking about oil, they are talking about tourism. You know, so we should be thinking of other things now. The future, what does the future hold for Nigeria? That is what we should be thinking of now.
Now, Charles, electricity, the same thing. We had this coming, but this is like inevitable that the prices and what have you, I think a 3-month notice was given ahead of this time. The House of Rep, the National Assembly actually begged the discourse to defer it to the 1st of September. Now, we're in September.
Well, we were warned, as you said, but that warning and whatever is happening now is not very, very. I think the timing is not very auspicious.
When is it going to be auspicious?
It will definitely come. Be right. It will definitely come.
Why I say it's not auspicious is that, you know, we have been hard hit by COVID. There are countries that know that this COVID-19 has traumatized, many homes. Pockets are leaking because there's nothing in it. And then what countries are doing is that they find a way to succor the everyday people. They find a way to bring about, whether you call it palliatives, whether you call it whatever nomenclature, it doesn't matter. But here in Nigeria, everything it is the everyday people that are suffering it. Now, what I expect what to do instead of, rather than government can come in. Anyway, do you know this thing we call subsidy? It's not death sentence. What people do, what other countries do, is that it is a tool. It's an economic tool to use to protect the everyday people. So in the US, for instance, you have subsidy on housing, you have subsidy on food items. So government uses it as a way to cushion the effect of whatever trauma the everyday people might face. But what are we having here? Rather than the government protecting the everyday people, they are rather shifting all the burden onto them.
Okay, Asuka, before we move on, don't forget that this is like it's a private business. These Discos and Gencos, they're in business to make money. They've been running at a loss. They are not making any profit.
But government also give them palliative then to bail out.
To subsidize them, yes.
So they also have to also give us bailouts too. Take for instance, they need to meter everybody. If you meter everybody, I think people will not complain. People will know how to manage their lights. If you give me meter, for instance, I'll know that at so times or so this is the time I will. But if they don't do that, they also have to improve their infrastructure, invest in their own business. I'm not saying it's not it's their private business, but let them do it well.
Okay, still to come. 90 armed bandits and 30 motorcycles storm bank in Kagara town in Niger State. We'll be right back after this time out. Thank you for staying with us. Niger State, north central Nigeria, is on the spotlight of insecurity again. Armed bandits numbering to 90 and riding on 30 motorcycles stormed the bank in Kagara town, headquarters of Rafi local government area of the states. The bandits, who were armed with sophisticated weapons, carted away huge sum of money after battling with volunteers who tried to chase them with 10 guns. Those who sustained injuries in the attack are receiving treatment at the hospital. Charles, I don't know, it's now becoming so alarming. Between Niger State and Kaduna States, the state of insecurity is so alarming. If you go to Kenji, go to Shiroro, go to, most parts of Niger State is like under siege from these bandits.
Well, anyway, I think because we are calling it a bandit, that's why we've not been able to look for a solution to it, because we're giving them a name that is not their name. Those ones who call bandit are insurgents. I can tell you that. I mean, Jiri Babaji had gone all over the north, and he understands what I'm saying. These guys we are calling bandit, because if we call them bandit, then the battle against them will be minimal. But if you look at them and you see them as insurgents, I'm sure that whatever we can, the arsenal we can put in, or whatever we can put in place, will be something that will be tougher. It's as if we are treating them as just mere criminals. Ewa, do you know what it means for about 19? I'm sure someone who counted them may have just done maybe an estimate. They may have been more than that. And then they were riding on most, and they attacked the bank. I don't understand that for close to 2 hours, they were in that town doing whatever they were doing, and then they now made away with a huge sum of money. What are they doing? They are stocking up. And look at even the weapons they said they came with. Weapons, sophisticated weapons. How did they gain access to all those ones? So it tells you that they are roaming freely on the fringes of that northwest and northeast over there. Insurgents are, right now the battle is being taken to them at Zamfara Forest. So Zamfara Forest is no longer as safe as it is to them. So what they do now, they are dispersing and then they are spreading, and they are coming down south. Very soon, you may be hearing that they are going beyond even River Benue and River Niger. So I think what government needs to do is to give them the actual name that they are. They are not bandits. These guys, for me, are insurgents. And that is why they are having this effrontery, and they are doing what they are doing and seeming to get away with it. How many of them have been arrested in this incident? None so far, according to reports. So, but people thankfully, we didn't have people dying according to report. So, but I think what the government needs to do is to actually take the word to them. These guys you call, whether the ones in Zamfara, whether the one in Katsina, they are not bandits anymore. Why? Because when you look at the sophistication at which they attack, I think banditry, the armed banditry is up to that. So the earlier we begin to treat them for whom they are, I think that's exactly what the government should do, so that the battle can go against them, and then we can arrest the drift. If not, very soon, God forbid, you might be hearing all those things coming down south, and then all of us will now be buffeted from everywhere, from the east, from the west, from the north, and then you and I, where are we going to run to? I have no answer to that, AY.
Yeah, I said it all. And they keep multiplying and they keep pushing in. And they're in Katsina terrorizing communities in Katsina. They're in Zamfara, wrecking havoc.
Exactly.
And now Niger State.
You know, the thing is, because of the war against terrorists in the northeastern zone, Lake Chad and co, that the Air Task Force has been, you know, doing a good job, you know, trying to make sure that they are all eliminated and all that. They are trying to look for safe havens. And in trying to do that, they try to move into the northwest, you know, moving into Zamfara. In Zamfara, when they get to Zamfara, they become easy by those who are involved in illegal mining to use them for protection. And now that the government is now putting their own eye in making sure that mining is, you know, becomes a revenue earner, they are now moving out to other means and going to other states, especially Niger State, you know. And in Niger, before you know it, they will go to Kaduna. So these guys are just the same terrorists that we know. We shouldn't say they are armed bandits. They have moved. They are the same Boko Haram insurgents who have refused to find a way for them to be radicalized, you know, de-radicalized, you know. So these are the same people. Because if you look at it, they had sophisticated weapons. How did they get the sophisticated weapons? So, and now that the IG, now the work is in the hands of the IG, that is the Inspector General of Police. He had promised that he was going to see how we can mop up harms across the country. So now he should use his intelligence network, that is the unit, try to see how they can arrest these guys, because if they are 90, they are not ghosts. They are not ghosts. They would have moved from one particular location to the other. So their intelligence should now be working. Where did they come from? Where did they go to? You know, amongst those 90, there will be one person that will be able to reveal who they represent. If they are so, any name that they mention, any name that they claim to be, you know, we'll be able to get them. So the Nigerian police should be the ones to go out, all out now, try to see how they can arrest these guys. You know, recently, the Nigerian army actually, you know, busted a particular terrorist group. So it means that we can do it. If they are 90, it means that they are a particular group. They are not just armed bandits that will just attack and they leave. Randomly, you know, no. So now is the opportunity for Nigerian police. We are calling on the IGP. Let him now go there, send his men there, because we believe he can do it. Send his men there and see how they can get these guys.
Hassan is calling us from Lagos.
Yeah.
Hello, Hassan. Are you still there?
Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for hanging on.
Good evening, Asuko.
Yeah, good evening.
Please, I would like to make an input into this issue of insecurity.
Go ahead.
And the second one here about the food.
Go ahead, please.
We are having serious issue. You see, government is not. I don't see government going deep into the root cause of the skyrocketing price of food in Nigeria. Because the issue is this: even to transport the food from northern Nigeria down to south here, in every 2, 3, 5 kilometers, you see a roadblock manned by security and collecting money from each and every roadblock. And this amount of money is transferred into the amount me and you buy foodstuff from the market. Number two is this, about the insecurity. Please, the government should be up and doing about it. Because I'm seeing this as an organized crime, serious organized crime going on in our society. Government, they are not doing much about it. They have relaxed. Let them do something about it. Good evening. Hello.
Thank you, Hassan. Thank you for your contribution. And when we're now looking at the fates of residents of these areas, a lot of people, we don't keep stock, we don't have database. They keep killing people every day, keep burning people. You can't account for them. Nobody is going to ask for them because we don't have database anywhere in the country to say, look at these are the number of people in this village, these are the number of birth rates, death rates. So they keep burying people on a daily basis due to this insurgent attack. Charles?
Well, I think the issue of database, I think that has been overflowed. The more we talk about it, the less we do about it. I don't know if in your car, how many identity you have in your car. You may have TVC, identity card, you have other ones, and all of them are talking about you. Because they're so central based, I'm talking about you. If anything happens to anybody or somebody does anything in Benin City, for instance, and he goes to Lagos State, and then the guy walks freely. So, and because of that lack of database, that's why we are having issues about when things happen. All you need to do is that, about 5 persons died, about 10 persons died.
Because you don't
know can't get accurate figures exactly. Because like Babajide said one time when we were discussing, he said even there are so many far-flung villages in the northeast, in the northwest, that most of them, when things happen there, before the report get to us, sometimes maybe even 1 year, sometimes the reports may not even get there at all. So all these ones, they are all Nigerians. Who is accountable to them? Who is taking care of them? Nobody. And most of them don't even have police posts. Even if they have police posts, they are just there. They can't even protect themselves. So I think we need to look at this thing that indeed we are at war. We are at war. There's no need for us to start being afraid of mentioning the fact that we are at war. And the earlier we begin to realize that we are at war, then it will now make sure that government will now make sure that indeed, how do you attack your enemies when it's wartime? Unless we get to that point when we agree that we are at war, I'm telling you that all this insurgency, whatever name you call them, whether insurgent, whether banditry, whether kidnapping, all of them, we might have them with us for a while longer. How long, I don't know. But because most of them, for instance, the 90 persons you talk about, what they call them, unbanned, they just operated in Niger State. They were able to cut money away, and they're going to stockpile. They're going to also go to the black market and buy more guns and all that. They might move to another place, and that's how, because they are doing this thing, nobody is being caught. Even when they are caught, we are told that they are being deradicalized, whatever name they call that. So I think we have to sit down to say, indeed, we are in a state of war. Unless we agree we are in a state of war, this is just what they are doing is just a pat on the back. And the part of the back doesn't achieve any.
Finally, on this, even there are some areas that were told that you don't even have government presence, that you don't have in any form. They're just existing on their own and everything. And these people are so vulnerable. If Boko Haram comes today, bandits comes tomorrow, they can be recruited because they're very, very poor.
Exactly. It's even in the north that's. Where we get most of the food stuff that we eat. It was even in the north that I know that once they are moving from one, they use kilometers, but in the south we use hours. If you are driving, they say, how many hours are you going to Ibadan? It's 2 hours. But in the north it's kilometers. So by the time you start calculating by kilometers, you know that once your village is outside the capital, then it's like you don't even. You don't even exist at all, because it's the capital that you have all the facilities, including telecoms, including police presence. If it's in the northeast, maybe soldiers, and all that. So there are some areas in Nigeria that are not even policed. So So when anything
no
happens,
medical facility,
nothing.
no
When
police
anything
presence,
happens, so it
no
is
government presence, no infrastructure.
I think it's the only time you even get government presence is during an election. That is when their representative will remember there's one village somewhere that they need that vote. So people will have to sit down and see how everybody needs government presence. And for a community like this, you'll be wondering, there's a bank there, and then there is no police presence where they have the bank. Then it tells you something. We need people to be secured wherever they are in Nigeria. Wherever they are in Nigeria, they need to feel government's presence, either the state government, the local government, or the federal government.
All right, and finally, a tragic comedy of sorts played out in Okula community of Ofu local government area of Kogi State when officers of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, arrested a 42-year-old man, Clement Akko, and his accomplice for Indian hemp cultivation. The alleged cannabis farmer had pleaded with the NDLEA officer to kill him rather than destroy his 10 hectares of farm. The farmer says he had invested a lot into the cannabis farm and would rather die than watch it destroyed. But what does it profit a man to lose his own soul to gain a cannabis farm? Charles, you there? I don't know.
Yes, I'm there.
But I think cannabis, I was told it's so lucrative. When you cultivate cannabis.
In your home state, in Ondo State, where you come from, Ondo happens to be the largest grower. Okay, where you have all this, they are not growing it officially. But if you recall that May last year, that the governor of your state, Arakore Akedolu, when he went to Thailand in company of some officials, I think the head of NDLEA that time, I think Mahmoud Abdallah, if I get the name right, when they went to Thailand, talk about it, they were able to do an assessment of the medicinal and the economic value of cannabis. And they said that it's estimated to rake in about 100 and I think I can't recall how much, about 100 and about $145 billion by the year 2025. So, and Arakuri was saying that we are losing out. Yeah, we do know that this is banned by government, but government can even move in and be even we can even grant licenses to people to start growing cannabis where they can do it, and then NDLEA, just like NADAC is doing, can come and inspect it. Okay, long as NADAC is inspecting people who are producing food and drugs, the NDLEA can come and inspect your farm, and so that you make it even something that's official. Look at what that guy said. He said after harvesting, a bag of it is about a minimum of 20,000 naira. Okay, so I think what the government needs to do, rather than burning all those things, I know this may not be a popular ground I'm trying, or popular route I'm trying to travel.
I'm telling you, I was about telling you.
I think we need to. I think the government. No, let me say this.
I'm playing along with you, Charles.
Okay, the government need to go back to Akedolu, who definitely, that's what he expanded on it on that year, last year. I think we need it can be a win-win situation, so that instead of all the people using it for other means, it can be for medicinal and economic reasons. If we do that, we might chase the people who are using it for illicit reasons out of the business. So that's where I see the one. I know it may not be popular.
I'm afraid if you know how our youths abuse this cannabis, some call it skunk. No, there's a part they call skunk, abi?
Yes, yes. I don't take it so.
So the thing now they call
scoochies and all that. You know, the
blow,
thing is blow,
whatever name,
whatever name. You know, the thing is, it comes
the
together.
way it has destroyed. Because if you go up north, down south now, young men, young women are into cannabis.
You see, the thing is worrisome that sometimes I look at how the future of Nigeria, let me use that word, the future of Nigeria is bleak, because most of the youth that we have today, they are involved in illicit drugs. It's either they take cannabis, they take these scoochies. There was a day you know, I was asking somebody what is the mixture of scoochies one day, and the person was telling me it's a mixture of ethanol, cannabis, and
won't your brain be?
And what is it called? This codeine.
Damn.
You know, and I was wondering that when you take all this together
in one brain,
in one small brain, do you know what it means? It means you have completely shut down your system. You know, and that is what our youth. And when I mean youth, I'm talking about from 25 to maybe 18.
No,
now
13, 14.
So they've even gone down. You know, so you understand. So if you see some of them, you begin to wonder. And that is why we still have,
especially ladies now.
Ladies,
you won't expect that.
Ladies
now.
You know, and some of them, coupled with the fact that they keep hearing some songs that will even make them want to take this, you know, cannabis. I don't want to mention them.
The Malians.
You know, I don't want to. Because, you know, because the thing is, when because that is what is even encouraging them to take this cannabis. Because I don't know. The thing is, if, for instance, you hear Charles was saying something about Akeredolu, that one is out of it. Akeredolu's idea would have sold. He would have sold his idea if Nigeria were to be like a restructured society, whereby each state will get its own revenue any way they want to. Because I know even America, like when Nevada, where we have Las Vegas, they said
it was legalized.
Yes, legalized gambling. You know, and every other state decide, okay, this is what we want to do, this is what we want to do. But this one, it can't happen like that. And that is why so many people shut him down. And now that youths are deeply involved in using cannabis, the abuse is something else. In 2017, Nigeria was ranked the 3rd weed smoking countries outside Iceland and US. You understand? So Nigeria was way up in 2017. Now I bet you if they carry out another research, Nigeria is going to be, because for somebody to say I would rather die than you destroying my farm. That farm that we are 10 acres is like 3 national stadiums put together. Yeah. And somebody is saying that I have cultivated this thing all my life and you want to come and destroy it. It's not possible.
Charles, are you looking at from her perspective at all?
Yes, because Charles is looking at it from
economic perspective.
You are talking about economy because we don't have money. We want to go to Igbo level. So I don't know.
No, is it what I'm saying?
Okay, Charles, let me quickly attend to Shola from Lagos.
Okay.
Yes.
Shola, thank you for joining us.
Good evening. How is everything?
Fine. Good evening. Go ahead with your contribution.
Yes, this cannabis of a thing is because our leaders, some of them don't see the economic perspective of it. The reason is that if we consider the people who are smoking Indian Hemp or marijuana, we discover that they are down level of people, like all these Agberos and some other people like that.
Don't say that. If we begin to tell you the number of big high-class people that are taking it, you will be shocked.
Let's say a bag is being sold for 20,000 as an instance. And at the end of everything, you see that there's a company who can buy it higher than that amount. Instead of selling to people with the smoking it, they would prefer to take it to a company that will buy it higher price. As a result of that, it will fetch more money to government, and people who are smoking it will find it difficult to get it because the price will have gone higher. If they are buying a roll 200 naira before, by the time they are finding it difficult to get a roll at 1,000 naira or 2,000 naira per roll, some of them will stop because the people who are cultivating it have diverted the source of income to the factory who will use it and give them more money.
Okay. Thank you, Olushola, for your contribution. Charles, over to you.
I think the man must have seen wisdom in what I saw earlier. I don't know if in the 80s when we were growing up in Bandits and in those days. There used to be you know, Ogogoro. If you remember Ogogoro, the one in supply water, used to be forbidden by government because the white man, when the white man came in, they called it illicit drink, and because of that, they were required to have a license. They call unlicensed whether on or off license those days for you. And in those days, if you had Ogogoro in your home you are selling, and you saw the willing with all this security coming, you run away to the bush. But today now, I don't think anybody is being arrested because of Ogogoro. I don't think anybody has died because of Ogogoro. So just like what the last caller said, when industries move in and tap from the medicinal value and the economic value, all the people who are using it illicitly will be shot out of the way. I can tell you this one because the thing will be priced out of their reach. But because it's there, no, don't do it. That's why. So I think government should move in. It's a huge foreign earner, and I think we should move in and see how we can tap the economic value from it, rather than leave it in the hands of everyday people who will now call it whatever name they call it and then smoke it, and most of them, then their brain knocks off and they will no longer remember their names and the village where they come from. So, but I think the government needs to move, and other people can also invest in it and then find a way to take it out of the reach of these boys and girls who are using it.
So I think this man is like a distributor, holds as in the production parts. He cultivates and it goes to the big time distributors
and then give them the bags.
If you see the way it has,
so they have like a chain. They have
the supply. Like now, if you ask me where they sell Indian Hemp, I can't take you there. I don't know, so but I can get in touch with.
So it means that there's a value chain to it. Yes, Charles, I understand, but the rate at which we have mental illness in Nigeria is not something we should joke with. Yes, it might have the economic value. It might have the economic value for now, but for you. But the thing is, let's first deal with the mental parts. Then from there we can start thinking about how we can make money from it. Akeredolu brought the idea, but they didn't. They just told him no, don't even go there. So many people, including doctors. So if you are talking about the economic part, maybe now that Nigeria is not having enough money and we are borrowing money, maybe they can look at that particular side. But me, I am still thinking about the health of our youth as well as the future of Nigeria.
I want to thank you, gentlemen. Charles,
thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for your contribution. It's nice having you. And Asuko James.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, and that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on our platforms showing on the screen. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I'm Ayodele Zubakum. Bye for now. God bless Nigeria.